I'm in your ears.
Back to the squad cast.
I'm crawling back a week later. Good morning.
I got into a thing with that stupid podcast company because they wouldn't let me try out. We'd recorded it, and then we were over the storage limit. It wouldn't let me actually try and edit the podcast. But they said they didn't have a trial. And so I paid for a month. They said, "Oh, we have a 7-day grace period. Just let us know." Out. So I came back almost immediately. I told you, this is not good. Sorry, I need a refund. And they tried to make me they wanted a bunch of answers as to why. And I gave them a whole list of reasons. Nice. And they were just like, all right, now fill out this form to get your refund. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. No, please give me a refund. And they're like, no, you need to fill out the form. I was like, here's the deal. Give me the refund now, as you said you would, or I'm filing a chargeback. I'm not going to play a game and you can give me a refund. And so they did. Good. I was not happy about that.
Do you think they were trying to bully you, or just someone Maybe. Trying to follow process?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I was just frustrated about the whole process. If I was in a different, if it had been a long period, I don't know, I might have been different about it, but it's a bad practice, in my opinion, to make your person that's unhappy with your service go to such so it happens in America a lot, where Comcast used to do these terrible things where they'd keep passing you around customer service for cable until you basically got tired and just said, oh, I guess I don't want a refund or help,
Yeah, they just wear you out.
So just that kind of nasty stuff.
So you give up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We always talk about here, it's within reason, do with the thing that's best for the customer, right? If, you can upgrade their shipping for free, no extra cost to them, do it. It's don't withhold something because, the process isn't always right. Especially in this case, right? It's you told me you give me a refund and now you make me fill out some stupid form as to why. It's why. Just do it for me.
This leads me very neatly into I'm not quite there yet. It's not an issue yet, but I suspect by later today it will be, where we have a classic center. These people aren't our target market, but we've had a big interior design firm come and get some quotes on some of our furniture for a fit out, right? And it's I think it's a $14,000 job at the moment, so it'd be a great job to get. It's all product, slightly customized product. That's fine.
Yep.
Deliveries in the CBD, which is always a bit of a pain, but I've charged accordingly. And then I've had what's turning into quite a long email exchange of, I assume, a junior person in this office trying to work out, because all our quotes in quotient are including GST, which is our tax. And this person, it's more common in commercial quoting land to quote everything ex GST, but because most of our customers are domestic, I've always set up ours to be including.
Right.
So this guy was trying to sort of reverse engineer our quote. And I ended up having to send him a government link from our tax office of no, this is how you calculate X GST, because he was getting it wrong, and then asking me why our quote was wrong. And then they're like, cool, we want to go ahead. Here's our purchase order. And then they send through this 50-page terms and heavy-handed purchase order. This is everything you agree to, sign your life away, and then we'll buy your stuff. And I haven't said no directly yet. I've just, my first step was cool, thanks, glad you want to move forward. As per our quote, just accept the items in quotient, and then I can generate an invoice for you.
Right. It's always that problem. Just accept the damn quote. It's not hard. It's one button.
And I've already drafted the next email, which is look, this purchase order is completely inappropriate for what we're supplying. If you want our stuff, please follow our process, blah, blah, blah. Which, yeah, I've learned
Right.
over the years that it's better to just push back than fold to these people.
Oh yeah.
Because
Right.
usually they will, if they actually have your stuff spec'd in their fit out schedule, whatever it's called, they will usually convert in the end and come around, even if they find you arduous. Like Laura and I did this with a big public art contract once where it was like literally 200 pages. And we went back with like markups on almost every single page of like, no, not signing this, cross this out. And that went on for months until like the builder, big bully builder was like, oh, you guys are being a pain in the ass here. Here's a 50-page contract. And then we did the same thing to that. I was just like, you guys are huge. Like you're like this multinational building company. You try to boss around a little tiny little business. Anyway,
lawyers get a hold of things.
Gets me fired up. Anyway, the bully thing just reminded me of that.
Oh yeah. Wait. I mean, I do that all the time. It's always worth asking. This sounds like some kind of stupid political thing that I am not implying. But I mean, in terms of a business sense, it's always worth asking the question of like, we just had one with a giant company that wanted to buy some of our products. They can only order for a purchase order, and they wanted to pay us net 60. And I was like, can you do it? And like, I know that's your thing, but you're also like absolutely enormous. Can you do 30? Oh yeah, I'll just get an override. We are a 2-person company. We have to pay, we don't have just like a $60 billion sitting around.
We're not your bank. Thank you.
Yes. That was the session on Jem and Justin bitch about their
commercial clients.
Experiences.
Yeah. What happened with that mob that ordered lots of tall towers and got the wrong size?
They just kept them. I was trying to like, I've since added to the website now that when you buy tool tag towers specifically, you have to check a box that says, I agree that this is an on-demand item, doesn't have the same refund return policy. Cool. And so it was never a problem prior, until somebody ordered 20 of them and then realized that they didn't order the right type, which we only have one, which was interesting to me. We've only ever had Cat 40.
Just I
don't know, big company. They just kept them. That was not the company that wanted the pricing though. So luckily that the credit, I guess you call it.
So you didn't end up crediting them on their misordered tool towers? Just went away?
No. Yeah. I said, I was going down all these paths, and I don't know how you feel when you get those kind of emails, but I do not do a good CEO. Like, just deal with it right away. I'm like, stabbed me. Like I get all like internalized, like, it hurts so bad, and I think about it for too long and try to write an email, and they basically were just like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. And I was like, okay, that works great, because like we made the thing we said we were going to make. It wasn't our fault. That one worked.
I think nice. It can be. There's definitely times where it's better to sit on those emails for a second longer. I reckon. Depends what they are. Some it's good to go back immediately and do. I think if you've stuffed up and you're doing damage control, the faster you act, the better.
Oh yeah.
But when it's someone just being a bit narky or unreasonable, I find a little bit of a pause can be useful for everybody. Like I've got someone at the moment who's like, I stayed home all day yesterday waiting for my courier, and it didn't arrive. So let's just wait and see if it gets delivered today, shall we? Before I respond to that vitriol.
I had so many of those. Oh my god! When I my main business was calendars and planners and things, and it was just we'd always ship the cheapest shipping we could, and that ended up being lots of missing packages. And so I had this whole canned series of things like we need to wait so many days.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is delightful.
Yeah.
What's your right? Cannot find it. This thing.
And now it's profit time.
I just had a sort of didn't sleep very well last night. And 3 a.m. thinking about not in a particularly negative way. I was just a bit wired, I think. And I was just thinking about how well the weekly cycle of Profit First is working for me. Really glad I switched to a weekly because I was trying to do the 10th and the 25th distributions and bill payments and stuff on that sort of cycle. But I found the sort of the fact that switch days for the week a bit confusing for my brain.
Oh, yeah.
And then it didn't always, and often I was doing like distributions. I was saying like, I don't have enough money to pay this bill. I better do a distribution now. So I top up the materials account. Blah, blah, blah. So I was doing it pretty ad hoc.
I'd love a weekly.
But the weekly is going really well for me. Really enjoying it. Like it's just really clear target setting too. Like I've got a really basic cash flow forecast running just in Numi, the calculator app. But it's like my weekly target is 20 grand. And it's like, cool. How much is in the account is one value. And there's 3 ways we can get money. We can complete a custom job and then get the second 50% deposit. Or we can win a new job and get the initial 50% deposit. Or we can get a web order. And so there's basically just 3 categories in this little cash flow forecast of like, the target is negative value, and then during the week as things come in or as I win jobs or I'm like, I know which jobs we're going to complete, it just goes in as a positive value and I can see like, cool, we're Thursday and we're 3 grand short weekly target. Cool. And we're going to make that at the studio sale on the weekend. We're good. And I can kind of relax. And it's like, woo! Like I'll still get quotes out the door today, but it's just a good feeling. I really like it. Yeah.
Right. So I had to pause for a second. Did anything change from last time? It sounds like you might be clipping a little bit. I thought I was hearing things, but now it's long enough that I'm concerned.
My RMS is clipping. Why is that? Find my MIDI.
Is it auto adjusting
doing
itself?
Weird slidey auto adjust. Which one is it? That one. Yeah, sitting a little bit high.
Yeah, quite a bit lower.
I've been awake for about an hour more than usual when we record, so I'm feeling a little bit more awake than usual.
Yeah. Maybe you're just talking louder. Maybe that's all it is.
I think that could be it.
He's awake.
I'm actually conscious.
It's the sharp cut.
Ooh.
No, the Profit First thing. Yeah, you reminded me that I'm going to probably follow up with my bank again and see if they can. I asked them about this because that was back when I was doing whatever, started out daily, I think, to get it kind of adjusted and set up. I since have gone to the 1st and 15th and the 30th. This is like my best option. It's twice a month. It's either daily, every transaction. Twice a month, maybe once a month, and like twice a month doesn't. I don't always have to, but I'd say every other month or so I have to do at least one other somewhere in there, depending on how cash flow has gone. Like I now know what to expect, where my inbox and my incoming account needs to be before a distribution where it's going to be a problem. I'm like, if it's not at this number, it's going to be silly. I don't like that. And so now I kind of keep an eye on it, but it would be nice to just have it weekly. I think that would be the best cycle for me too.
Yeah, it's good for my lazy novelty craving brain, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And even just like the daily, we do a 4-day week. Just breaking down that target into 4 days is useful. Like, cool, I know very clearly the 4 days this week. If I can, what I need to hit on a daily basis.
Right.
Which, very rarely happens, but, because it's spread over the full 7 days in terms of web orders and when people actually pay their deposits and stuff like that. But yeah, I just find it very neat and useful.
Do you walk around your day thinking about like, oh, we need to hit the nut number? I have this number, my low end number of like every weekday we need this number of income. I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
Anything over that, I feel happy. Under that, oof.
I think, this is the profit first chapter of the business. I've never checked the bank account balance so regularly. Like, it's quite obsessive in terms of how many times a day I log in now. Just like, has that cleared? Is that cleared? Are we there today?
Ours is like once a day, basically.
Right.
There's only literally like one movement. It has a dump once a day, basically.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's got its BM.
Meow. What else is happening?
Oh, I was going to say, I haven't happened to Numi's website since I bought a different computer, probably, and they now seem to have a preview for Windows if you are not a Mac user, and it is a delightful little app. Also Linux.
I noticed that last night too, funnily enough. When I was looking for Numi for phone,
it's so great.
I was like, I want this on my phone. Come on.
I know.
And
me too. The only one
like the new iOS 18 calculator kind of promises this. It's got this function called math notes where you can like scribble in and have assigned values and stuff, but it's a bit clunky.
I don't want to handwrite things.
But you can do it in text form too. Like you can do that and like assign values to a text note and have it calculate.
Oh.
But
that's nice. That's the same, no?
It's just not as good. Yeah.
You have that, I guess, but there's the app called Solver. Soulver. It is also a version of this where it's kind of like somewhere between natural language, algebra, math, all in one. And I use that as a backup on my phone when I need something. I've literally done quotes in an airport using Solver on my phone and Quotient on my phone. You're muted.
Oops. Thanks. I'll check it out.
I almost put 18 on my phone, but really the only thing I really want is the Apple Intelligence. Is that in there yet?
But it might be for you North Americans. They could just be feeding us yobbos the dumb down. G'day, I'm Siri. How can I help?
They haven't figured out how to make it sound right yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you've got a better beta than us for some reason, but no, there's no Apple Intelligence there yet.
I have home. This is in a weird tech corner conversation. I have we watch TV in our bedroom because we're those kind of people, and I have little HomePod minis.
Yeah.
Right? As like speakers that actually work really well with an Apple TV. And they just, out of nowhere, they auto update in the background. I never paid attention to it because they always just work. And they just bricked themselves basically recently. Like they just don't work anymore. And it won't let the Apple TV work unless I disconnect them. That's the first Apple thing I ever remember just
self-destructing.
Doing a Sonos, basically. So actually that thought alone was just like, I don't need another problem right now. Like, let's just stay on 17. It's working.
Yeah. There's no life-changing things in the beta just yet.
What's their? Oh, your timber. Yeah, you got those new dowels, and then
new timber.
Did they come like not cut to length? I saw they look like rough ends. That's kind of interesting.
The way this is the crafted hardwood stuff, the sort of machine-made logs. The way they make the lumber in its raw form is it's like a 500 by 250 by 2.5 meter rectangular log. Like they make them rectangular, And they're, because of the veneers, the way they're made, they're just like, rough alignment at the ends, and then they just cut whatever profile you want out of that brick. And so when they ship the dowel, it's like, it's got that cool little wavy end on the rough sawn sort of untrimmed in, which is quite cute. I like it. But that arrived Friday, I think, and done our first couple of machining tests. We haven't done nearly enough sort of machine testing yet, but Johnny did enough to sort of go, this looks like it'll work. We just need to get the feeds and speeds right, basically, I think, because we're getting more chip out than we used to. But even on those chipped out ones, like it's like you can really crank it and get a really strong engagement and stuff. So it'll come down to sort of aesthetics of whether we can tidy it up to look neat enough to ship, I think, rather than whether we can make it strong enough.
Right.
But it's cool stuff. And it survived the wax tank, which I didn't expect it to. I thought with all the glue lines, I just thought the glue, like with all the glue lines, the heat would just stuff it up and delaminate it or do something weird, but it actually did pretty well in the wax. We'll keep playing with that. That's pretty cool. I mean, no, that's a story for offline, I think. Yeah. Hold that thought.
It's coffee time.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess. It's funny how you don't really know unless you talk about it, like open the kimono.
That's how you get good pricing. That's how you get good pricing. Okay, moving on from sexual favors. Hit the censorship button and we'll move right along.
Maybe that's not long enough. Got to be able to see that waveform.
So deep fry is going well. No, I haven't set up the deep fry. The wax dip is going well. The deep fryer is still in the vehicle.
Is there any way you get a wax? I was thinking about this when you posted it. Is there any way you ever get it clean, or you just always have some like vaguely fry smelling products afterwards?
No. I did buy a big bottle of wax and grease remover in the hope that I can get it reasonably clean. But we might have.
Maybe it's a perk.
Just that like stale deep fryer oil flavor permeating our timber. But I did buy a cheap secondhand deep fryer from the local salvage yard. I think it's 3-phase. It doesn't have a plug on it, so I need to open it up and see how to actually what it needs power wise.
But they use
I bet they do. But our shop built deep fryer that we built, the long wax dipping tank, is pulling probably about 4,000 watts as well. So it's off 2 power points, so it uses quite a bit as well.
3-phase will be beneficial then.
Yeah. And it's just, it'll be a more design fit for purpose object in terms of its efficiency and heat transfer, and it's got all the little wire baskets and stuff. So I've got blisters on my hand today from doing just gloveless removal of wax components yesterday out of the wax.
Mm-hmm. See, you need a robot.
Robot, yes. Humanoid bot.
Just got little pincher fingers that go in and whoop.
Just sadly picking objects out of a boiling wax tank in the corner. Wax building up in its joints as it complains.
I do not feel well.
You see someone's built, Interstellar. Do you remember the robot from Interstellar?
I've never seen it. I keep meaning to.
There's an awesome robot in Interstellar called TARS. And I saw someone online had built a little model TARS robot. It's just like a little brick monolithic robot, but that walks around. But they've put a really sassy LLM into it. So it can they ask it to do things, and it's got a lot of attitude in its responses. It's very cute. Can't wait for all the homebrew robotics projects with LLMs in them. It's gonna be fun.
Does it make sense in the movie? Because that is one blocky robot. It looks like chunks of steel.
Yeah.
With 3 chunks of steel is the weirdest
It's a funny looking robot. But from memory, I think it makes sense in the movie. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm all for deep fryer wax dipping videos. That'd be kind of a cool longer form YouTube video if you have the bandwidth. Just how you're
on that process.
Just less markety, less just more of a. Well, I'm basically just wanting content for myself to watch now. I don't know if it's good for your business. I'm sure it is.
Yeah. That'd be cool. There's lots of videos I'd like to make like that.
Me too.
How much effort do you put into them from a production point of view?
Oh, right. I mean, it could be low effort too, right? Like kind of a vloggy. I'm going to take this fryer and turn it and improve our products. So the workflow sucks, or like whatever's be interesting. I think it'd be good for both me and customers potentially. That kind of like you might get a couple different audiences, but anyway.
What were you going to say?
Going to IMTS next week, which is both exciting and stressful. Trying to get enough figured out this week. I've got a project due Friday, which somehow it's Wednesday already. Monday was a public holiday, but I worked a bit, which was nice. Those are the best, man. I feel like free, like there's no traffic going to work. There's literally nobody else around on the block, and I was just like me in my dark workshop. No distractions.
How much you got to get to?
25 different parts. 25 different, well, not different, 2 parts, 25-ish parts. Not too bad, but it's mostly, I'm thinking of, I'm feeling a little bit underprepared for going. I've always had these like dreams of going to IMTS, and I'm like, yeah, someday we'll get there. And now, like, according to a few, I think Dylan's recommended this, and Chris, to have like a pretty strong plan about what you're going to do, because it's so overwhelming that like you get there and you just like end up like, oh my God, I didn't look at the things I wanted to look at. And I have a list, but I also feel kind of like naively like not knowing what I should know, I guess, like what I should be looking at. And I don't know where I'm going with this other than to say that it's coming and be there next week.
Are you going for more than one day? Yeah, cool.
10th through the 12th.
That's cool. That's cool.
Some travel days on either side.
I can imagine that would be really beneficial. Like I've only ever been to those big tool shows, and like Australian big tool shows, I'm sure have got absolutely nothing on IMTS, but like I've only ever been to like the larger one in Sydney and Melbourne, and only done like a half day there tops. And it's like, I always find it really overwhelming. Just like, oh my God, so much stuff. And then sort of coming away quite tired and overwhelmed and with a whole lot of stuff in my head, in my show bag. But I think it'd be really nice to be able to like absorb, digest, hang out with some people, and then go back the next day and like focus in on things that you maybe only got a glimpse of. Or I think that would be a good way to do it. Multi-day experience.
Right.
Plus, I imagine good.
So there's 1.2 million square feet of exhibit space.
Imperial, filthy imperial measurements. Sounds like a lot.
111,480 square meters.
That's a lot. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. Be interesting. I'm definitely going to hit up one of my things. I definitely want to see robots. I mean, I've been talking about the things I've been wanting to look at, but I want to see like I'm assuming there's going to be like a robot section, but if not,
there has to be, right?
I will be trying to find because like per our discussions, right? I definitely have thought more and more about like, it would be nice to have some help, some robot help.
What would be your
I feel like there's a lot more options out there.
Deployment. What's the first thing you'd solve? Ready, so go.
See, this is where it always falls apart. Is it's like we don't really do anything that that warrants it being there. It would have to be something that could be dynamically reallocated, right? Like even if it took a human pulling it over on its little wheels with its googly eyes and saying, all right, now you're over here and today you're going to sort blocks instead of emptying printers, or I don't know. Like I don't...
You want that really dynamic solution.
I suppose the dream is, something you can, but all of these things are like, they have to be kind of tied into a machine though, because it's like it can't work unless it knows what the machine's doing, unless it's like sanding, I suppose. But even that's got to have like an input or a start, somehow. So I don't know. I think it's just one of these things where I just need to be more exposed to options and what's out there. Because I've seen like finished spraying robots and stuff on assembly lines, and I'm just curious what the new possibilities are.
Yeah. I think I'd be super curious about what's the real world implementation of like UR or anything like that. Of like, I've got one in my shop. It's on the mobile trolley base. I've got the pendant. How quickly can I go and teach it to pick these things up and turn them over? Like that's kind of the critical flexibility in my mind of like, how quickly can I go from an idea of, you can help with this, to actually, because I've only got, 200 parts. It's, I could do it. But if I can't implement you to help me with it quickly, then, I'm not a big production shop. It's not a full-time solution.
What I think the dream, if I just had to like throw together some concepts, I want like GPT LLM style ease of accessibility to a robot, where it's like, I can basically want to go like, hey, see those, point, and it's got a little camera. It's like, you pick those up and move them and flip them 3 times and put them over here while you sand each side. It's like, there's 2 arms and they work together. Oh, that's a cool idea. I think that's going to be the game changer. Obviously, if that's also GPT level affordability, that's a whole nother conversation. Then $40,000 and you need a crazy controller and it's mounted in one place and never moves. And
totally. Yeah.
Is that supposed to be me?
That's you at IMTS.
It does look like an American.
Sorry, it's not very flattering.
I don't like hot dogs. They freak me out a little bit.
I love a good sweaty wiener. Dear. What else is happening? I don't know. Studio sale. We're going to sell all our junk this weekend.
Studio sale. I mean, junk, huh?
Well, that's lightning and thunder. It's exciting.
That's exciting.
Yeah, going to sell all our seconds and prototypes this weekend. What has become a traditional spring sale. Cash generating sale from all the stuff that's sitting around collecting dust. So
yeah, you also made a bunch of crates, right? Or were those just
excess
sitting around?
Stock sitting around? We haven't made any more. It's just heaps for some reason. Overproduction at some point in the distant past. Not sure why we ended up with so many. It's crazy. So much money in material and time sitting there. A bit of a sunk cost at this point. So we, I don't know, just clearing stuff pretty cheap. Try and convert it into some cashola. But I always enjoy the studio sale days. It's nice to meet people and hook people up. Something. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Just meet them outside. You need a little something.
Oh, that's out the back. Come to the deep fryer.
Come around to the deep fryer. We'll get you some bits. Do you still use, or were you just trialing Gorgias? Gorgias.
Store. What are you talking about?
Didn't you use Gorgias? Gorgis at one point?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know how to say that. Gorgeous?
I need more context.
There's a link. AIA customer experience platform. Maybe you're just trying it at one point, and then I think you went to Notion, maybe. But that's really not a competing.
Not
thing.
me. Not me. Maybe could have been something Jay was looking at potentially before we went to Notion. So. But I've never seen this before.
Oh yeah, it's not in here otherwise.
What is gorgeous?
Right. Okay.
Saw Notion tipped over 100 million users, and I thought that's a lot of people. Good on you, Notion.
That's a lot.
Sounds impressive.
Still using it?
Still dumping a whole lot of stuff into it. Still loving the search functionality. Got pretty good, what's it called? Buy-in engagement from the team. I mean, I'm working with my dream team. I wouldn't expect anything less, but everyone is either using it or adding to it, which is awesome. So yeah, it's fleshing out. There's heaps of stuff in there, and there's also a heap of redundant stuff in there from either really legacy stuff or just pre-downsized stuff, which is kind of no longer relevant. But I think it's pretty clear to anyone at the moment if you're searching something, whether it's oh yeah, that's from the before times. That's not how that works anymore.
Did you move in all of your SOPs? Is that what you call them?
Sort of stuff.
From Airtable?
Yeah, Jay. Before Jay finished up, they did a really big push of sort of getting all the key sort of SOPs in there. And we've since been adding stuff. Yesterday, I just made a printing loom demo video for how to get new parts on the bamboo printer for John, and stuck it in Notion. And he can go searching for that when he needs to reference it.
Right.
It's just good.
Yeah.
Good for that. I mean, it could kind of be in anything. It could be workflow. It could be Airtable, but it's certainly enjoying the way Notion works.
Yeah. It works. That's always we were talking about that recently here. It's the amount of things that we went through till we got to Airtable, and that stuck. I mean, it was 3 or 4 different apps over the period of a year and a half with different 3 or 4 employees, including myself. And it's just either I wouldn't like it or not, or I couldn't, if the usability wasn't good. It's it finally came to all right, well, what do people like using? And Airtable is the only thing that was that. Not to go back down that rabbit hole, but it seems to be very important. If the majority of people don't like it, it's not going to work, probably.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you need people to be comfy in it and happy to use it. Otherwise, Otherwise, you're just piling data into a useless hole, really.
So I was testing out. I've had access to this for a long time. Have you ever seen ClickUp?
No, it rings a bell. What is it?
It's just another platform for project management.
Yeah.
And I've just recently been playing with it, and it has this, we're talking about AI features and how Airtable's kind of really failed at that, but it has this incredible feature where I only have one project I was testing it out on, or a space, I think they call it, but it has a project update button that you can click, and it gives you all these options of which of these lists since give me an update since last 24 hours this week, and you can choose created, not all these different options of the status, who's potentially a part of this, and then it gives you a summarized, very simple to read, AI generated, Steve worked on this project and added this to the task, and then calculated, and it's oh, this is a nice little executive summary feature, but I think anybody can use it too, which is nice. One of the few things I've seen AI wise that's useful.
Nice. It looks like Monday.com or something like that. Yeah.
It does. Yeah. Does
or
does.
Asana, or one of those many things. Yeah.
We could end early. I've got endless shit to do
Cool.
this week.
Cool bananas.
Unless you have more.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so we're going to record a secret show soon. And curious if you have thoughts on a topic or just questions for us. You can send us at the link here or DM us on any of our 3 accounts on Instagram.
Yeah. Let us know
thoughts.
what may be of interest. And then we can talk about Justin's kimono some more.
Ba-da-bum-bum.
Dun-dun-dun. Oh, daddy.
I'm slow with the buttons.